Welcome back to the Solutions Lab. I'm Chris Phillips, D&H's Technical Enablement Supervisor. And today, joining me is an old friend of the Solutions Lab. Bill Hersh is back with us today.
Hi, folks. Yay!
Bill is our Senior Poly Sales Specialist. Bill, for our customers that don't know, can you explain what Poly is, actually?
Poly is the new name of the merged organization of Plantronics and Polycom that happened last April.
Okay.
So Plantronics purchased Polycom with the intent of adding their audio conferencing and video conferencing and telephony expertise and technology to Plantronics' very broad audience of SMB and mid-market customers that do headset business.
Okay, awesome. So what are we here to talk about today? Are we talking about Poly devices or kind of a complete solution? What do we have on tap today?
We're talking about a lot of the new Poly devices, the UC devices specifically. We're not going to talk about any consumer stuff. But more specifically, we're talking about how Poly adds value to Office 365, specifically the new Teams application.
Okay. So what is Teams then?
Teams is Microsoft's latest application for team collaboration. It's designed to enable any size collaboration between any number of people. So you can go from one-to-one to one-to-many to many-to-many, and includes the ability to do instant messaging, video conferencing, audio conferencing, joint whiteboarding and document sharing, as well as larger meetings, and the ability to, when taken out to its furthest degree, to do voice over IP telephony. Okay. So Teams now actually covers basically any collaboration aspect is now a Teams thing.
Awesome. So Teams is replacing Skype for Business, aside from Skype for Business. How does that work?
Teams for a while existed side by side with Skype for Business. Microsoft is deprecating and eventually going to eliminate Skype for Business. Okay. So Teams is becoming as far as Office 365 and Microsoft are concerned, is becoming the de facto collaboration tool. Okay, so then in that case, how do our customers get Teams and start taking advantage of it in their organizations? Well, as far as getting it, they order Office 365 because it's included with just about everyone. Awesome. As far as how do they actually start selling it and implementing it and helping their customers use it, Microsoft has a ton of resources we can get some links to and that's some description of. But probably the easiest way to show where you can find it is, I believe we have a Solutions Lab Office 365 tenant.
We do.
Could we add a new user and see what that looks like?
Sure. Let's jump into the Solutions Lab Office 365 account. We are actually here on the dashboard, and over on the left-hand side there is a user tab. And when you go ahead and click on that, it will lower down, and I'm going to look at our active users, and it'll bring up a list of our active users here. I'm just going to go ahead and add a new user. It's going to ask for some basic user information, and we don't really care about this because that's not really what we're here to talk about. Let it generate the password automatically. We want to get to the product licensing part of this. We'll get this out of the way and hit next. And here, when we're assigning product licenses to an account, there are two things I want to note here. What we have on the Solutions Lab side is an E3 Office 365 account with audio conferencing. So the first selection I have is the ability to add Microsoft 365 audio conferencing to the account. That essentially allows the user to create a real phone number that when they create a Teams meeting that outside people can dial into and become part of the audio meeting portion of that meeting. The second aspect is, go ahead and I'm going to add all the Office 365 products to it. And as you see down here, it kind of added 21 apps. What you want to make sure you're looking out for is to make sure that Microsoft Teams app is checked off for that user. It's automatically checked off in most cases, so just want to make sure that it is there when you go ahead and create the user. You click Create Next, you finish it out, Next, finish the product, and then at that point, that user's ready to go with Teams and any of the devices we're going to show today. It's automatic, and it's just that simple. Okay,
so now we have Teams added to our new user for every user on that subscription. So when we start looking at the Poly family of products here, Poly's been working very closely with Microsoft to make sure that the devices that they're creating at this point in time are Teams enabled. Okay. And in most cases, there are Teams native devices. Okay. So what's the difference between native and enabled? Enabled means it works with.
Okay.
Native means that the application comes up and enables you to interact with Teams on that given device.
Okay. So
Okay?
it's running Teams.
It's running Teams.
Okay.
It's running, in this case, the Android
All
app,
right.
yes.
Awesome. So where are we going to start?
So I think we're going to start with the new CCX phone. So Polycom has had around for a number of years their VVX family of phones.
These are
these are the CCX.
Okay.
No, it's good follow there.
Okay.
The VVX is the older family that was designed for Skype for Business, that worked well with Skype for Business, but is not Teams enabled. And so the CCX is the family that's happening now. This is the brand new 500. At this point in time, there are 3 models available. There's a 400, a 500, and a 600. 400 is fairly basic. 500 is designed for most office users. The 600 is more an executive phone with a much higher level of features. When you look here, you can actually see on the phone, you can see my calendar right now.
So this is running Teams natively.
This is running Teams natively. And if you look at it, it's a phone.
Yes.
So
it looks like a phone to me.
Right, and it's going to act like a phone. You're going to pick it up. If you do an audio conference, there are a couple of ways you can interact with it. You can pick it up and use the headset like you would any other phone. It's got Bluetooth on it, so you can connect wirelessly any
Headset to it.
Bluetooth headset. It also has a USB port on the side, so if you want to use a less expensive, like more call center application, USB like a Blackwire headset, we can do that as well.
Cool.
But when we get to the Teams enabled side of it, again, if you look here at the application, you'll see that there's actually an opportunity here for me to just click join.
Yeah, there's a meeting there right there.
I don't have to worry about am I putting in the right password, the right username?
So this is connected to your Teams account. This is connected to the Bill Hersh Teams account. So you have a meeting right now that you can join, and without having to do any hubbub, you can just hit one button and join that meeting.
And I just did.
Awesome.
You should actually probably be getting some sort of notification.
Yeah,
or the meeting organizer will be getting a notification.
Yeah, and I just did. I just did it on my watch that you had joined the meeting.
Right, and it's just that easy.
Yep.
So any of the new CCX phones will enable you to do that. And when it comes to like just ease of usability, just being able to interact and work in a broad collaborative environment, the CCX makes it much easier.
Awesome.
Beyond being Teams enabled, it's also a traditional SIP phone.
Okay.
So regular voice over IP, you have an incoming phone number, it's going to work the same way.
Awesome.
Okay.
So you can do standard phone calls on this as well, not just Teams stuff.
Correct. I just got out of my meeting. And again,
that's okay.
It was just that easy. I'm pressing a couple of buttons on a touch screen. I don't have to worry about clicking this, clicking that, signing in. Am I going to use computer audio? Am I going to use the phone? It's all handled right here via this particular telephone.
And again, this is not connected to a PC or any other device.
Oh no, this is the only wire coming to this thing right now is the network cable, because in case we didn't mention, they're PoE enabled.
Awesome.
So the fewer wires, the better.
Cool. All right, so that's kind of a single user phone. We've also kind of seen these types of devices for a conference phone.
Correct.
Talk a little bit more about that.
Okay, that's the Trio. That particular one's the Trio
I'll hold it up
8800.
so we can see a little bit better here.
Trio 8800. There are actually 3 models in the Trio family right now. There's the 8300, the 8500, the 8800. The 8800 I particularly love because while the 83 and the 85 are designed for small and medium conference rooms respectively, the 8800 is designed to go into larger size conference rooms. We can actually daisy chain multiple 8800s together. They act at that point in time as a single device. In addition to that, each of them have capability of taking expansion microphones. So you can go from 12 or 16 people with an 8800 to 30 or 40 or 50 people in one large room. And again, it's the same kind of thing. I don't know if you can see the Teams.
You'll go back to the 2-shot, and on the display, there's just like on the phone, there is a join button for that meeting.
Boom.
Because I, as the meeting organizer, added this conference phone to the room that I had the conference in. So when people come into the conference room, all they have to do is hit the join button there, and it joins the meeting.
So basically, when you go into Teams, when you set up your meeting, when you choose the room, the device gets chosen with it. And again, it eliminates, how many times have you gone into a conference room and you start trying to figure out what password am I using? Am I have the right thing? No. Join, go, done.
Simple as that.
Right.
Awesome.
So those are the more traditional desktop and conference room telephones. We find more and more people, especially in smaller businesses, are using their cell phone almost all the time as their primary business phone.
Okay.
And there are a lot of organizations that are handling the cell phones for their employees.
Right, yes.
And so now cell phones are great. We wouldn't live properly without them anymore.
I hate to say it, I have a cell phone.
No.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
It was a while ago.
Okay, well, so you use a cell phone too. Okay, so this device here is the Alara 60, and it's designed to enable you to interact with your cell phone in a business manner the same way you would with a traditional phone.
Okay, so I've got a cell phone with me. Let's see how this works. So in most cases, you just kind of come up to it. I've got my iPhone here. It works with iPhone and iOS.
Right.
I'm going to put the phone right onto the device, and first of all, it started charging my phone.
Charging. So the first thing about the Alara 60 is that it handles wireless charging. So
awesome.
Samsung,
Cool.
LG, Apple, whatever.
So now that I'm in my phone.
Now have we connected?
Yeah, we're connected.
We're connected. So at this point in time, this keypad interacts with this phone.
So all I did was drop it onto the thing.
Right.
I did a setup before the thing started, but it was as simple as just pairing via Bluetooth.
And that's all we're doing.
Okay.
So at this point in time, now you can treat this phone like a desk phone, to the point where, if you look right here, you see the little Teams button?
Okay.
So I press the Teams button, and what just came up on your phone?
Teams.
Teams, pull.
This looks now almost identical to the phone we have sitting right next to it.
Right. So again, we're just trying to make working here as easy as possible. The Alara comes with, is available with a choice of 2 different headsets.
Okay.
This dual ear with a microphone, or one of the small single ear pieces.
Awesome.
So again, looking at making small offices, medium offices, any size offices more productive and easier to work with teams.
Yeah, and it's just simple as that. Like now that I'm in here, I can just hit one button and join the meeting, or just call you directly. And through Teams, it's just going to call you, and now we've got a phone call going.
Did I mention it? We can connect to Bluetooth here?
Yeah, I think you did.
So okay, so I'm going to.
He's going to answer that so it doesn't go to the Bluetooth speaker. And I got a headset too, but I'm not going to put it on because it'd look a little awkward.
Don't do that.
Okay.
That'll be so much worse. So because there's a lot of stuff going on here, I'm gonna get out of this call right now.
Okay.
But again, looking at ease of use.
Yep. And I can just take this when I'm done at the end of the day, and I've taken it away, and then the next person can come, sit their phone down.
You can pair multiple phones with the Alara.
And off and running.
Right, exactly. For those mobile workers that are using their laptop a lot and are doing a lot of meetings from laptops, we all know that the speakers and microphones on laptops aren't really designed for actually holding a decent meeting. So Poly has a family of products called the Callisto family.
Okay.
There's a 3200, a 5200, a 7200, depending on how big a space you want to cover. The device you see right here next to your laptop, is the Callisto 5200. Okay. A simple USB device. It plugs in. It's auto-discovered by Windows. But at that point in time, that becomes your speaker. That becomes your microphone. You've got mute capabilities.
So it adds conference ability to standard PC.
Correct. In addition, there's active noise canceling.
Okay.
That enables you to filter out a lot of the background noise behind you. ANC is not so much for you as it's for the other people in your call, so they don't have to listen to all the stuff going on around you.
So ANC, active noise cancellation.
Yes.
That's a huge part of the headset side of things as well. So I think that this is a good point to kind of transition and start talking about what sets these headsets apart from.
Exactly. Well, what sets them apart is ANC and the fact that they're designed to work closely with the application as opposed to just be a headset.
Okay.
We have 3 different headsets here right now. This is a 4210, which is a new model. There's a 6200 and an 8200. The 6200, I will tell you, I swear by.
It's your best friend. I see you all the time with it.
All the time. And the nice part about both the 6200 and the 8200 is once they're paired to a phone, they respond automatically. So if I have one of my earbuds in and the phone's ringing, it'll tell me, hey, you're getting a call. Do you want to accept it or ignore it? Okay. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to pick my phone up. I just tell the headset what I want it to do.
And it'll do
it. And it does it just that easily. The 6200 is a smaller model. It's a little less intrusive. The 8200 UC.
That's one of my favorites.
I tell you what, if you're in a situation, if you're in a circumstance where you've got a lot of noise around you, you need to be able to hear what's happening around you, but you need to filter a lot of it out. And you want to be able to connect to multiple devices. The 8200 is probably the best device I've ever used, best headset. You can take a look at the earpieces here. You see how robust that isolation is?
Yeah.
Right here in front, there are 4 microphones that work together. They're inside these 2 little slots here that work together to provide a voice capture field right in front of your mouth. So the interaction you get, the clarity you get out of both the 6200 and the 8200 is...
It's audio clarity on your side, but it's then it's clarity for the person on the other side, hearing you clearly and just you, and not the things that are happening around you.
And that also is where the ANC comes into play, because it eliminates all the stuff around you. Right now, with our new open office concept here, we've got a lot more collaboration, a lot more opportunity to work with each other, but we've also got a lot more noise around us. And I can put on one of these or one of these, and I can eliminate for myself everything around me. For the people on the other end of the phone, everything but me.
Okay, cool.
So if I'm having a meeting with 4 other people, they don't want to know what the people in the cubes around me are doing.
So the noise cancellation, most people think of it as something that for me, it's actually really for the person that's on the other side of the line.
Exactly.
So that's a lot about the audio sides of things here with Poly and Teams. There's a whole nother part we haven't even gotten to yet.
The video side.
The video side of things. So what do we have going on behind us right here?
Well, when we start talking about poly and video, the name studio should come to mind right away. We've got studio, the traditional studio, which is about a year old, and we've got 2 new products known as Studio X. There's an X30 and an X50.
This is the X30 that I'm bringing up right here.
Okay, there's the X30.
And here, I'll put that so you can see it right here. I'll put that right there.
There we go.
And this is the, what is this?
And that is the TC8 touch controller.
Okay.
So that panel allows you to remotely manage either the X50 or the X30.
Okay. So this is the X30, and this is the touch panel that controls it.
Right.
Cool.
So when we go back to the traditional studio, which is actually, you can see right behind me.
I'll grab that one too.
Okay, that is actually a USB.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that thing.
Audio video device. And it's designed to be used with a PC.
Okay.
It has no native compute capability.
Awesome.
Both HP and Lenovo offer devices that are designed to work in a huddle room or conference room circumstance. HP has their own specific slice. Actually, they have 2 different ones. There's a slice with Teams on it. There's also a slice that has Zoom preloaded on it.
So to be clear, the difference between the X30 and the X50 and the studio, you need a PC or you need some kind of device to run the studio.
Correct.
The X30s and X50s work natively just like the phones do.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you also want to look, if you, going back to the original studio, HP has a slice model. Lenovo has 2 Smart Hub 500 models.
Yes, I've seen
one,
those.
one for Zoom, one for Teams.
Okay.
And they're designed to work very closely with that. Again, that kind of restricts what you can do. But it's what was until the X family just came out. And to give you an idea how new this is, these just arrived in the past couple of days.
Okay.
So they're very new for us.
Aside from the integration with them being native or not, what makes these different from any other video conferencing equipment?
Well, Poly having access to a ton of proprietary audio and video technology has features in the software and the firmware that give you better interactions using these devices, specifically the X30 and the X50. The studio benefits from much of it, but the X series even more so.
Okay.
But the 2 most important features that I think, number 1 is the camera follow.
Okay.
And camera follow, if you haven't worked with one of these devices before, if you haven't used one of these in a huddle room or a conference room circumstance, especially if you've got a number of people in 2 different meetings, 2 different ends, you have conversations going on between multiple people, and it's very hard to follow who's saying what unless you know everybody. And again, the more people you have in, this is designed to handle a 20 by 20 room, so like 12 people, you could have 24, 25 people.
It's putting out a wide
It's a 120 degree angle of view there. And if you don't have some way of tracking who's talking, the meeting gets confusing and messy in a real hurry.
Understand.
So the camera follow software allows you to figure out who's talking and follows the conversation. Now, most devices designed like this have some sort of software like that.
Yeah, we've seen it in the past.
Right, but the challenge there is there's a lot of lag. If you've got a very quick back and forth going on between multiple people, by the time this person over here is done talking, the camera's moved over here, and all you're ever seeing is...
You're just chasing.
Right. You're seeing a face that's not moving and hearing a voice from somebody else. With the camera follow software in both the Studio and the Studio X families, you've got like split-second follow-up and very strong close-up, even to the point of if you and I were both talking in a room of 12 people, it would go and it would catch both of us. And then if the guy on the other side of you started talking, it would move and still keep you because you're still talking.
Okay.
Whereas other camera follow software may not do that. The other software is an audio software called Audio Fence.
Okay.
And what that's designed to do is eliminate side conversations, eliminate anything but the conversation coming from whoever it's focused on.
So this is for not just for conference rooms, for people that are in an open environment as well.
Well, for an open environment or a conference room. So if we're in a meeting, there's 12 or 14 of us in a room. Somebody over here is talking. If the camera follow software is here, the audio fence is catching just us.
Oh, okay. I see. That's pretty good.
Right. So what it's doing
is... So it doesn't catch our side conversation that we're having.
Right. About, can you believe he wore that shirt today? You know, whatever.
Or is it every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
So that's where Poly brings their long history, their expertise to video conferencing. We're not going to show you a demonstration of these particular products. We showed you a little bit here with some of these. We're not going to show you a demo right now of the studio products, but in a few minutes, when we go to our live Q&A, you're going to see one of us being viewed on the studio, and the other of us being viewed on the Studio X50.
I call it the X50.
Oh, fine, be that way.
Yes.
All right, I'll take the studio. But what you'll get to do is you'll get to see the exact experience that your customers would see. So there's a lot of opportunity here for you. There's Microsoft is doing a lot with opportunity around Teams.
Right.
Poly is doing a lot to help you.
And all this, the audio, the video, all comes together in Teams.
Around Teams.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's not the Poly products work with software besides Teams. I need to be clear about that. At the same time, if you're a Microsoft partner, and many D&H customers are Microsoft partners, you're working with Teams. These devices are designed to make the most out of that experience for your customers, which is going to, in turn, build your relationship with them, build their business.
Awesome.
So
if anyone has any questions about any of this, first of all, for Teams, go ahead and email us, solutionslab@dnh.com. If anyone has questions about Poly, where should they go?
Poly specialist at dnh.com. We'll get to the Poly team here at D&H.
All right, awesome. And if you have any questions for us right now, we are going to be doing a live Q&A. So stick around for that. But with that, Bill, thank you for joining us. Take your studio, get the heck out of here. I'm going to take the X50, get that set up, and we'll see you guys in a couple minutes.